Hey everybody, welcome to Arts Innovation VizBiz Earning ReDeZined. So we've been looking at some of these other presentations, and this is where we're supposed to go to figure out what we can do with our art and our music and our teaching profession to see what we can do for other people, see how we can communicate differently, and how we can start up a business, even online, that can get us some money. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. These are the three areas that we want to focus on, and that is working, gaming, and monetizing. So we're going to figure out what kind of work we need to do, how we can turn some of this work into games to make a profit. And I say games for everybody. It's not just for gamers. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can use games for that we haven't thought about because it's not just for entertainment. We can gamify learning. And so I'd like to show you what I've done for this very subject in terms of gamifying business. And here's the way I structured this. We start out with art equals math equals music, and we make that into a production team. All right. So then what happens is we're going to be working in specific media. And you'll notice that games require that somebody writes the stuff out, somebody does audio for it, and someone makes a video. And then all of that's put together to make a game. So that's literally the four areas that we can focus on. And having done that, having that become our production team and in our output, then we have to look over on the other side and see what our demographics are. Are we going to be doing this for business? This particular VizBiz thing is for startup businesses. Can we do it for education? Yes, I have done this specifically for education by designing some of these interactive things in my courses. Can we do it for religion? Originally I didn't think so, but I've written 2 books about it, and I can see some areas that would be specific to that demographic. And of course, all of them are connected in the home. So basically, if we're doing these 4 different media and we put it into the home, then all of those things exist in the same place. So let's take a look in a little more detail in how that works. What we just looked at was this one little triangle over here, the production end. We can see that when we're going to put a team together, you have to have someone manage the production and manage the marketing. So, you know, it's hard to do by yourself because we don't have time to do all of this. Sometimes we have to, but it takes away from our actual art output. But once these exist, once you actually are thinking about these things, we can go over here and see the market goes to what channel, you know, which demographic. For producing something, what is the product or service, and where does it go? Who needs that product or service? That's our target. Then if we're going to manage our team, we also have to manage our customers. So somebody has to figure out just exactly who our customers are and how much attention we need to pay them to get them the product that they need. Now all of this is connected here. We got to manage our costs. We're going to have to figure out whether or not we're going to make an income that offsets that cost. And we need somebody to figure out what the data is so that we can monitor how this is going. Now I call this team, target, and flow. This is not a common terminology in business. I came up with this myself just because I want to be able to explain it to non-business people. Typically you get lost in all the business jargon and it makes you feel stupid because basically it's supposed to make you feel stupid so that you can learn how to make money. I'd rather do it some other way, but that's the way business people do it. So we got to figure out how to do this as artists. Now what happens is that what we just looked at, each one of those sections actually has 3 subsections. So this gets very complicated. If you can see here, we've got basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times 4. So we got 36 different subjects. Now, in the past, I've said, don't worry about the tools of finance because we don't know anything about it. You have to figure out all this stuff first before you can even begin to talk about this stuff. And there's professionals out there that already know all of this stuff. So take advantage of your own time and your own expertise. Fill out this other stuff before you start talking to finance people, especially about getting loans. You want to be able to do this as much as possible without taking money, especially from your family and friends. A large majority of first-time startups fail pretty quickly within the first 3 years. So be careful what you're doing there. Now, again, to help people out, including myself, when I was learning all of this stuff, I translated all of this stuff into different games. Card games, board games. Here's basically the same information we had before, but it's set up in a different configuration as a typical square board. Same information is there, it's just in a different format. That particular board, then, that is in the center where the cards are piled up. And then each of these fold out. I've actually built this. They fold out into these other areas. And it's kind of fun, actually, because you actually learn a lot about these different areas just by going through and answering the questions on the cards or dealing with the subjects. I've got an awful lot of images on the cards, and the card game itself was an experiment because it's cheaper to do that and faster to do it to just print it out on your own computer. But the goal here is to turn it into an online interactive business. Now, of course, when you're playing games, it's pretty boring just to read a bunch of stuff and talk about a bunch of stuff without characters. So what I've done is develop some characters in different environments. Here's my Fun Ants farm. Again, we pulled the ants from the phonetics system into this particular game. We've got the little bisbees flitting around in the flowers and the crops, and they're growing in a field of cash. So this can be kind of fun, and again, you can do it in 2D, 3D, or online, whatever. But it gives you some ideas of how you can transfer some characters into other scenarios. Also, you'll notice that all the flowers and the corn, they're all characters, so you can use them for comic relief. My other characters, which I really enjoy in this particular scenario, are the pumpkins and the disruptors. The pumpkins I developed primarily because I was giving a presentation and a woman asked me if I could teach this stuff to her second grade daughter. And I went, oh my God, I never thought about that. So again, I thought we needed some cute characters. I already had the disruptors and they seem to be out of place. But I've got a whole back storyline as to how these met and why the disruptors don't eat them. And all of that stuff, again, is kind of a background in terms of teamwork and learning how to get along together. So again, just being able to create a character and knowing it's going to fit in one environment, you might be surprised at how it might fit into another environment and create a lot of humor. The other group is basically what I'm more familiar with, and that's the factory, and that's got several characters on an assembly line. These all are based on real people that I have met, and in the car that I drove. And so basically what happened is that because I traveled around as a traveling artist doing street fairs and mall fairs and stuff like that, there's a certain thing you have to do in terms of producing for an art factory to actually be able to load up your van with the stuff you've created and be able to work replacing it while you're on the road and still have room in the van. Because typically what we did was we traveled in vans and then we'd have to sleep in those vans, otherwise we'd spend all our money on hotels. So there's a whole series of things that I can teach just through reliving my own personal experiences with these characters. Now, in terms of the actual business and course development, I've already developed an interface that will show what exactly is in the course. This particular one is for courses I developed for college, and what I did was I embedded the Biz plan into the course. You can see here that we've got the home, we've got the 8 weeks of the course, It can be online or in person, doesn't matter. And then what I've done is I've actually added all of the courses down here so you can click on it and see what the next courses are and how they link together. We got business links. We've got tools, which would include your graphic tools and your software tools. And then we have the entire VizBiz plan embedded in each course so that they can actually go through this whole production system that we were discussing while they're taking a course. And of course, the output becomes their portfolio. Each course would have a project based. Okay, thanks a lot for watching and listening. See you down the road.